Welcome back to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast. I, of course, am your host, KC Phoenix. Okay, this isn't going to be that long because this really isn't that deep. It really isn't. However, before I go any further, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Now, I don't dig into my analytics that much with the whole YouTube thing or whatever, or even with my podcast itself with Spotify and Anchor and everything else. I kind of glance at stuff, but I don't go too deep. However, this was on my spirit, which is why I'm making this video. YouTube just showed me something where they added this new feature where I can see what people are looking for on YouTube, or what people who watch my YouTube channel are looking for. And because I'm very appreciative of my YouTube watchers, especially the ones who have been liking, subscribing, sharing the video, watching the video, like I said, interacting, all of that stuff, I appreciate you more than you will ever know. Same thing with my podcast listeners. I have had steady listenership. My podcast listenership has always been stronger than my YouTube channel. My podcast is literally an international podcast. I have listeners in Russia. I have listeners in Brazil. I have listeners in Spain. I have listeners in Canada, in Australia, and so on and so forth. So thank you to all of my podcast listeners. However, this is for the YouTube viewers who are looking about something in regards to losing belly fat. Obviously, that is something now. It's more than likely US listeners because it's spring going into summer here. So you want to get that summer body and get everything ready. So I was like, let me talk about that. First of all, I'm going to show you this. And I'm not a licensed physician, a licensed fitness counselor, or anything like that. And this is not advice. We all have free will. You can do what you want to do. But I'm going to show you this right quick. This is flat. This has been flat for a minute. The reason that it's been flat for a minute, because I've looked at people who are younger than me. And I noticed that there's sometimes a pouch and things of that nature. Now, one thing that people have to keep in mind, men and women biology is two totally different types of things when it comes to men and women, period. So it can be harder for a woman to lose weight than it can be for a man to lose weight. However, there are certain things that make that climb up the mountain of losing that belly fat a little bit harder. And that's what I'm talking about. And it's on my spirit, which is why I'm recording this. It's not that difficult in this sense. This is usually what I have all the time. Water, water, water. Some people are like, well, what if I retain water? Then honey, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Water makes a huge difference. It really does. I actually weighed more. I lost about 30 or 40 pounds because one reason was because of mono, because I got mono in 2020. And then when I got mono, I changed the way I was eating. And that plays a huge role. I cannot tell you the last time I've had fast food. And I love a good Whopper. Whopper is the best fast food burger, period. And watch they show a Whopper commercial during one of these ads on YouTube. But Whopper's the best burger, period. But I digress. I haven't been to Burger King in forever. I haven't been to McDonald's in forever. Wendy's, Sonic, pick your poison. Literally, pick your poison. So, because that's what it kind of is. I'm not saying that you have to go to that extreme. For me, I just don't really like the taste of it anymore. It's not really my thing. What I can tell you is that water makes a difference. The foods that you eat make a difference. Fast food makes a difference. Also, alcohol makes a difference too. Because some people are like, oh, well, I'll drink more water, but I'll still drink alcohol. No, that's not the ticket. That's not the ticket. It's because you have people, this is the thing. You have some people, and some things are genetics too, but you have some people who they do drink a lot, but they have flat stomachs and everything else because they're in the gym all the time. But you have other people who they don't like going to the gym. Me, I'm not really a gym person. I'll go to the gym if need be, but I'm not that person. I'm not like pushing weights and doing all of this other stuff because it's not that deep to me. I just want to be a healthy weight and have a flat stomach, and I've maintained that. If you are the person who doesn't want to go to the gym, then you have to adjust in other areas. Another W word that makes a difference for people is walking. You would be surprised what a difference walking makes. I'm about to start back walking. I'm kind of funny about walking sometimes because that helps you lose weight too. And I don't want to lose too much weight because I'm at like 161 right now, which is a good average weight for me. So I would tell you water and walking, which this isn't anything that you haven't heard. Staying away from alcohol, staying away from soda. Soda is a very big thing. And sugary drinks. Some people may be thinking about doing those teas, like those the teas that help you lose weight. That's a temporary solution. You want a permanent solution. You don't want it to be every time spring comes around or when winter is closing out, that you're like, oh, I have to get ready for the summer. You want to stay ready for the summer. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And that's sort of my message to you. If you incorporate certain things into your life that can help you maintain what you want, which obviously some people are looking to lose a little bit of belly fat, then you're going to be good to go. And also with eating certain things, fiber is good. Leafy greens are good. I literally eat kale probably 4 to 5 times a week. Same thing with spinach. I eat spinach probably 4 to 5 times a week. If there was something that happened to the food supply and there was no spinach or kale, I'd probably fall out. I would throw the biggest temper tantrum. I would be marching on Washington. I'd be doing all types of stuff because I got to have my spinach and I got to have my kale, period. So that's just me. For other people, some people don't like the taste of kale. They say kale is bitter. I don't think it's bitter. It tastes like lettuce to me. Doesn't taste bitter, but to each his own. You have to figure out what works for you, because the things that I'm telling you, it may not work for you because you're a totally different person. Your genetics are different. Your personality is different. Your body's different. Your lifestyle is different. I'm just telling you that if we had to look at some of the common denominators as related to belly fat, one thing that we can look at is alcohol consumption. That contributes to it. So if you drink alcohol, I dare you to go without alcohol for 6 months. If you drink is in no alcohol, I dare you to. And see what happens. And while you're doing that, I dare you to drink more water. Go without alcohol, drink more water. I dare you to go without sodas. Where you're like, oh, and I'm not talking about Diet Coke and all of that other, because that's garbage too. But again, to each his own. If you like soda, good for you. But I'm telling you this, these are the culprits. These are the common denominators. A doctor once told me, an ENT to be exact, that if you hear lawnmowers in the background, they're always doing maintenance around here. God bless them. But a doctor once told me, an ENT, he said, if you look at what you do, if you pay attention to what you do, usually you will find the answer to what it is you have questions about. So I'm telling you, if you remove alcohol, or if you remove soda and alcohol, or if you remove soda, alcohol, and fast food for 3 to 6 months, and you notice, and you're drinking more water, and you're noticing like, wow, you know what? I'm starting to lose a little bit of weight. There's been a change. What was different? Then that'll let you know, okay, hey, KC was right. So yeah, And I'm not saying you have to do all of these, but water is a big, big thing. Water for sure, and the sugary drinks for sure. Those are big, big things. So yeah, and also don't get it twisted. People who are my size, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're the optimal health or whatever, because there's things that I'm still working on. I'm always working on my cholesterol because I want it to be perfect. I can be a perfectionist at times. You know, I have to keep my blood pressure in check because I have hypertension as well. So it's things like that, which hypertension, that can also happen from using salt, for which a nurse explained this to me. Hypertension can happen because some people say it's genetic, but it can be that, but also it can be if you used a ton of salt throughout the years. Just because your blood pressure was normal when you went to the doctor doesn't mean that your blood pressure was not high. So if you were constantly eating salty foods, it was straining your veins inside and putting more wear and tear on them, which causes them to have issues later, which then affects your blood pressure as you get older. So sometimes it's not genetic. Sometimes it's just about the diet of how much salt people are consuming, because people are like, oh, well, my blood pressure is always 117 over 77, so I can pour as much salt as I want to. No, that's not necessarily the case, because when you add salt to your system, you're still raising your blood pressure for that moment. So keep that in mind too. But again, I'm not a licensed doctor. This is not medical advice. I'm not a licensed attorney. I'm not a licensed fitness person. The only thing I'm licensed to do is tell my truth. And because I noticed that was one of the things that some of my viewers was looking for in the analytics, it was on my spirit to go ahead and make this video. It wasn't necessarily for the views, because I don't care about that. I really care about the people who consume my content. Because again, you give me something that you can't get back. You give me your time, is what you give me. So the least I could do is give something back to you, besides just, the tarot card readings or whatever. But anything that I can always offer back, that I can give back to you to help you out, to bring some change into your life or to do whatever, I'm all game for it, because I love all of my subscribers. I love all of my listeners. I love all of my watchers. And I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. But I just wanted to throw that out there because it was on my spirit. Anyways, KIRWKC.com. Main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Until next time, be blessed.